We're going to turn it back on here real quick, see what happens. Okay, great. We're going down the rabbit hole. We're going down the rabbit. Okay. Before I get into vectors and all this fun stuff, we are going to watch this video from Steven, or not Steven, another dude, 25 from Unreal University. This I've done a bit of this guy's course through Udemy, but we're gonna check out his 25 tips and tricks.
Another way of quickly creating bookmarks. We can also use bookmarks in our blueprints. So let's say we're making some blueprint code and we basically want to save where we are right now. What we can do is click this little bookmark arrow and go create new bookmark, and I can just call this new bookmark and add it. Then let's say I move away. To go back there, we can go window and select bookmarks. Then it'll show me some blueprint code back to that location as well. So that's just another way of quickly creating bookmarks. We can also use bookmarks in our blueprints. So let's say we're making some blueprint code and we basically want to save where we are right now. What we can do is click this little bookmark arrow and go create new bookmark, and I can just call this new bookmark and add it. Then let's say I move away. To go back there, we can go window and select bookmarks. Then it'll show me all my bookmarks and I can just go new bookmark and it'll take me back. So that can be really helpful as well. So let's say you just dragged an item somewhere into your level and you want to place it on the floor. Sometimes when you're dragging an item, it's kind of in the air, or you have to like really move it to make it basically just on top of the surface. There is a quicker way to basically make this attached to a surface, and that is to just select your item, then press the end key, and that will instantly snap it towards the closest surface. So if I want this on the floor, I can just go here and then press end, and it'll snap that to the floor. So this can be super helpful when you're designing levels. The next tip I want to show you is how to adjust the pivot point of a model. So I have this door model, and as we can see, the pivot point is in the middle. Instead of having to go into some 3D software to edit the pivot point and then re-import it into Unreal Engine, we can actually edit models' pivot points inside Unreal Engine. Just select the model you want to edit the pivot point of, then go over here where it says selection mode and change this to be modeling. And we just want to go to Xform and select edit pivot. And now I'll be able to edit the pivot point of this model. So using this gizmo tool, I can adjust it. So doors normally have a pivot point around the bottom corner. So I'm just going to add a pivot point there. So here, and now if I just go accept, this will be the new pivot point of that model. And I can even drag in this model from my content drawer, and that'll be its pivot point. So this can be a super helpful tip, because now you can just easily adjust pivot points without having to put your model back in some 3D software. This next tip can help you save a lot of space if you've downloaded some assets from the Unreal Engine Marketplace. So if you go over to your Epix Games launcher and go over to the library, and if you find the Unreal Engine Marketplace assets that you have, right now we can see that I have around 40 gigabytes of Marketplace assets. And once you've downloaded an asset, you don't really need to use it again, but it will still keep the files. So in order to basically remove the files of an asset, once you've added it to your project, you can just select the asset. It will have like an arrow next to it. If I don't have the asset installed, then it'll be grayed out. But if you do, then it should be highlighted kind of. And we can just select this remove local content, and that'll basically remove the local asset files from my project, and that should save me some space. So you can see my Unreal Engine Marketplace assets has reduced by 4 gig. So this next tip will only save you a couple of seconds, but I found it to be very helpful when designing levels. So let's say you have an object you want to duplicate. Instead of pressing Ctrl C and Ctrl V, we can duplicate an object by just selecting it and holding the Alt key, and that will allow us to quickly create duplicates. For this next tip, I'm going to show you how to create a slow motion effect. So I'm in the third person template, and inside my third person character, I'm just going to make it so when I press the 1 key, I'm going to call the flip flop node. So the way this works is first it'll call A, then it'll call B. And to create a slow motion effect, I can just drag off here and look for the set global time dilation. And if I make this something like 0.1, then my whole world is going to be a lot slower. I'm just going to copy this and paste it again and connect this into B, and then I'm going to type in 1, and this should return it back to its default settings. So if I wanted to speed something up, then I can make this 2. But let's go compile, and if I play my project, if I jump and press 1, we can see things have become super slow. And if I press 1 again, things go back to normal. So that's how to quickly create a slow motion effect.
Turn your ideas into videos. Go to artlist.io
Even just for, like,
and get everything you
looking at
need, all in one
animations
place.
and fights and combat and stuff like that.
Music,
If you ever need to rename something, instead of right-clicking and going rename, we can simply just select the thing we want to rename and press the F2 button. This is also a universal tip, so I think in programs like Windows, if we just press F2 on a folder, that will also allow you to quickly rename things. Let's say we find a really nice scene in the game that we're working on. What we can do is create a high resolution screenshot. So the way we can do this is by first pressing the G button. This will basically make your viewport look like how it's going to be in the game. If I press G again, you can see it has things like the grid, this light actor, and when I press the G button, I'll basically make it look like how my game's going to look when it's exported. Then, to take a high resolution screenshot, we can just click these arrows here and press high resolution screenshot, then go capture, and this will create a high resolution screenshot of just my viewport. I can also just tap the F9 key, and that will also take a high resolution screenshot. Then if I press F11, this will basically expand my viewport so it takes up the whole screen, and now if I press F9, I can take a high resolution screenshot of the whole viewport. For this next tip, I'm going to show you how to find specific objects in your level. So let's say I want to go to where this SM Rock 124 is. If I press the F button, it will take me exactly to where that rock is. Did you know we can basically store and use blueprints as text files? So if I just
Oh, it will not let me download. Oh, I see. $15 to $20, okay.
copy all of these blueprints here, and I press Ctrl C, then I go to my Notepad app. I can paste my blueprint as a text file, and then I can copy all of this text here, go back to my Unreal Engine project, and I can paste it again. There's also this website called blueprintue.com that takes advantage of this. So I can paste all the blueprints that I have, and I can give it a title like test, and go create blueprint. And I can basically share this with other people, and this can be helpful if you need to like share bits of code.
Cool.
And it also basically allows you to copy directly from this website into your Unreal Engine project. Next, I'm going to show you how to make Unreal Engine run a lot faster. So if you're on an older, laggier PC, Unreal Engine may be a bit slow. In order to make it faster, we can just go here and click Show FPS. This will basically show us how many frames per second our project is running at. So I have a good PC, so it's at 120 frames per second right now. But if I was on a lower end PC, then maybe it wouldn't be as high. And what I can do to basically make Unreal Engine run faster on my PC is I could go over to settings, then if we go over to engine scalability settings and just change everything to be low, this should make your Unreal Engine project run a lot faster, although it will look a bit worse. If you want to be organized when you're making your project, did you know that you can color code different folders? So maybe I want the characters folder in my project to be a different color. What I can do is just right click on it and go to set color, and maybe I'll make it red. Also, we can go over to our blueprints and we can comment certain nodes. So if I select all of these nodes here, then press the C button, this will allow me to create a comment around it. I'll just leave this as comment, and we can also change the color. And so I can see it from afar, we can click the show roll when zoomed, and I'll basically be able to see what my comment is even when I'm really far away. So these ones don't have it, but if I just checked it I can now see what this is when I'm kind of far away. Next, let's go over some shortcuts to manipulate objects. So let's say I select this cube in Unreal Engine. I can move it with this gizmo tool here. If I want to rotate it, I can select here and rotate it. And if I want to change the scale of it, I can go here and increase the scale of it. But we can also use the W button with the cube selected, and that allows me to basically translate it, move it. I can press the E button, this will allow me to rotate it, and I can press the R button as a shortcut, and that will allow me to quickly scale it. So that just saves a couple of seconds. And the W, E, R keys are all next to each other on a keyboard, so that's kind of handy. Next, let's go over how we can create holes in objects. So I have this sphere here, and I have this wall. And what I want to do is basically make a hole of this sphere in this wall. The way I can do that is by first moving this sphere into this wall. Then if we just go over to mode and change this to be modeling mode, then select the wall, then the sphere, or the object that you want to basically make a hole. Then if we just go over to model and select Boolean, this will basically allow us to create a hole of this sphere in this wall. And I can move this, so maybe I want the hole to be lower, or here, or maybe even on the other side. So I'm just going to make mine like this, then I can just go accept, and that'll create a hole of the sphere in the wall. So I'm just going to make mine like this, then I can just go accept, and that'll create a hole of the sphere in the wall.
Put your backs into it, brats, or no rations for you tonight!
Hey, quit slacking off. Row with the...
Nice. So, nice. Like this, then I can just go or here, or maybe even on the other side. So I'm just going to make, so maybe I want the hole to be lower. Like Boolean, this will basically allow us to create a hole of this sphere in this wall. And I can move this, so maybe I want the hole to be lower, or here, or maybe even on the other side. So I'm just going to make mine like this, then I can just go accept, and that'll create a hole of the sphere in the wall. Nice. So, when working with Unreal Engine, when we use variables, we can drag them in and we can either get them or we can set them. There's a quicker way we can do this though. If I hold Control on my keyboard and I just select this variable and drag it in, it will automatically get it. And if I press the Alt button and I drag this variable in, it will automatically set it. Did you know we can use physics to help decorate our level? So I have this cupboard in my level, and if I just select it and make sure that it's simulating physics, and then I can just place this, let's say around here. Then if I just make sure that I'm in simulate mode, and if I just click play, maybe I want it so this is how my cupboard is going to be in the game. I can just select this cupboard and press the K button, and now if I stop simulating my game, that's going to be the position of my cube in the game.
Oh.
So using physics, we can basically
That's
design.
super cool. I didn't know you could do that. Oh man. Oh man. Oh, Kira. I just got to say it. The spiced pear Red Bull is fantastic.
Our level. If you're designing your level and you want to basically move an actor, if you want the camera to basically move with the actor, what we can do is hold the shift button. Then when we move our actor, our camera will move with it. So this can just be helpful if you don't want your camera to move when you're kind of designing your level and moving objects around. If you're designing your level, instead of searching for the assets you want to basically place in your level, instead, what we can do is press Control key. This will bring up our asset window, and we can basically search for whatever asset we want and drag it into our project. Window, and we can your level. Instead, what we can, if you're designing your level.
Okay, I gotta look at this. Where's my chair? so it's... That's cool. That shift tip is just in here messing around, but that shift tip is really handy. I mean, you can do it when you're cloning stuff too. Dope. And then Control P will bring up assets. So that is handy. Then again, I do have my content drawer. I have this installed over here, which this is my collections. It would be good if it actually told you how many were in there. You can see the collections down here, but I don't have anything in the cliff meshes, and I don't have anything in the rocks. So, rocks. Just had these guys select. Let's do this, this, and this. And we're just going to drag it down into the mass rocks. Oh, it didn't actually want to render that, which is what it usually has tried to do to me. Okay, I like that. For a cliff message. Let's just filter this by static mesh. Oh, we have that already? Okay. That's right, it's because it's got a bunch of them as a blueprint class. So, oh, that's why mass rocks. Interesting. Okay. We're gonna try and drag a little bit of this. So it's the second I try and move a rock that's in a blueprint class. Can I convert those to static meshes instead of it being a blueprint class? What do I benefit from it being a blueprint class? This is the question. Hi. Oh, hi, Sarah. Sorry, I was off OBS for a sec. Just a shit storm of stuff here. Instead of searching for rock, search rock. UE5 is literal for what you search for. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I've realized it really needs it to be quite quite exact. Um, yeah, so I just realized that. So like I was dragging all these clips in. I'm going through this tutorial from Udemy, the C++ one, and dragging these blueprint classes onto my screen takes at least a minute. And even trying to just drag them into my collections, it wants to do everything with a static mesh. So like the first time I tried to drag it into the collections just to organize it, I dragged like 150 of them in there, and it was taking like a minute and a half each. I had to Alt F4 the program. Um, so it was a little annoying that I couldn't just mark them in the cliff meshes without it having to go through and actually render them. But I guess my question is, what do I benefit from not from using the blueprint class versus just dragging the status mesh? You know what I mean? Like, there's obviously more on the static or on the blueprint class for it, but these guys here, let me turn this off. I just dragged these down. I was like, oh, these all work no problem. And then I realized, okay, right, these are static meshes compared to blueprint class. And these are just, look, it just goes in. It's so nice. It's so easy. I love it. Also tried using the spleen tool in Dash along with some of these cliff faces, and I could not get it to work at all. So it might probably work better with those static meshes, but yeah. Yeah, the BP. So let me open up one of those blueprints. Sorry, I gotta drag you over to the other window here so I don't turn into a giant hole of death here. So here's my cliff meshes. Let me go back. Which one is this? Cliff L underscore 16 optimized BP. Yeah, so okay. I've got a 3080 Ti, I think an 11970 Intel CPU. I'm running off an SSD, a new one I just bought, and I've got 64 gigs of RAM. And the RAM and the SSD are all within the last week because I was like, I need to prep myself for what I'm doing here. Oh, it's interesting. I cannot see this. That's so weird. Also, just like, where'd my level go? How do I get... Did it close my level when I opened this up? I think it did. Yeah, that's okay. That's... I was not expecting that. So it opened up the blueprint class in... Oh, mass is a level. Even though I was opening up the asset, though, and it's a blueprint class. Oh, so interesting. But I mean, like, here, it's... Oh. I get it. So that's essentially a packed level actor. Is that what that is? It's like they made this mesh and they made it a packed level actor, didn't they? And then so they're pulling that in. Right. And you know what? I just went through that with the tutorial. I didn't realize that's what they were doing here, though. because it had me do that with some stuff that I put together, some rock faces, and then made a new pack level instead of was dragging it in. That's good to know. That's also why when I was putting it on the spline tool and trying to drag it out, I was having issues. I gotcha. Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate I appreciate your help. This is quite the learning curve going into all this stuff here. So that's also why it takes a hell of a long time to load that stuff up. So that's cool. How long have you been doing Unreal Engine stuff for? Oh, is it? This is the beginning of the tutorial that I'm doing. It's been building the landscape, and then it just showed me how to make a pack level actor. So I could put a bunch of cliff faces together and then reference and pull it back in, right? I'm in the part of the course where he's teaching me how vectors work. And I'd done GameDev.tv, or part of it, I'd say a year ago when I first started getting into this. And I just done a course on C++, and I learned some stuff in there. And then I went back to work and hadn't really touched this. So now, being unemployed again, it's film industry. I'm like, fuck it, let's really dive into this. So I'm taking the Steven's course, which is really fantastic. I'll be honest, it's taken me quite a long time because I keep downloading different plugins and experimenting with stuff, figuring out the Dash plugin and how that works. I mean, the course starts from the very, very beginning, I'll be honest. It is incredibly simple. Most of what it's had me do is just see how the environment works and build all this stuff, right? Piece by piece using the foliage tool. And so it literally just taught me how to bring in another level. So I used the pre-built dungeon asset here and then mixed it in with the rock. So it was showing me how you can kind of bring other assets and stuff into here. And then oh my God, there's a gap here. Very poorly put all this together here. So as you can see, don't look behind there. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Yeah, I do have some procedural generation stuff. I guess on Dash I would do that, but I kind of wanted to figure out how to do it just with the paint tool, get the basics down. I have like an auto landscape plugin that I got last time, and I did figure out how to bring height maps in, but I mean, honestly, I was just happy with this tutorial when it was showing me, connecting the normals and the height maps and all that stuff. And it really walked me through the process, whereas the last time I was doing it, he gave me a little bit of an introduction to it. But here, when I brought in some other static meshes that should have worked, they didn't. I said, hang on. I went into the content browser, found the original textures, dragged them on, connected them in the blueprint, and it all worked. And I was like, I'm a fucking genius. So it just felt good to be able to, troubleshoot a little bit, right? So my frame rate's decent too. I think I turned off virtual textures and virtual shadows just to get me a little bit more of a better frame rate here. I'm running on medium scalability, but I could probably turn some bloom off and get some extra frames, but I've really been liking the Dash tool. Like, I kind of want to go open a level on the side. Have you worked with Dash at all? This is one thing that is driving me nuts as well, is the grass is super bright from that side, dark from that side. I'd like to just turn down the brightness from the direction that the sun's hitting it. I guess if I just put the sun straight overhead, it's not as bad. Don't notice it as much. Yeah, that's all right. Oh, I think Sarah's gone. Well, Sarah, thank you for your tips and tricks there. I appreciate that. Helping me figure that out, that it was actually a level I was pulling in. It doesn't label it as that, but that sure saved me a little bit of a heartache. So I'm gonna go back to the. I gotta finish this video off. I like the asset window. It's essentially opening up my content drawer.
Instead of searching for the assets you want to basically place in your level, instead, what we can do is press Control P. This will bring up our asset window, and we can basically search for whatever asset we want and drag it into our project.
This is really handy.
When you import a model into Unreal Engine, it will import with its own custom collision settings, although sometimes this may be incorrect. So, for example, I imported this model of this archway, and if I click the play button, I should be able to walk through it. Although because Unreal Engine automatically generates collisions for objects, sometimes they can be wrong. So let's go over how we can basically make objects have custom collisions. So first, if we just select this object,
That was really nice of Sarah to come by. It's a lonely game sitting here doing this.
Rebound team of the week. Oh,
So-
wow. Good game. I know. I think Papa's a.
And there's a follow. Help that lady out. Oh, you're back. Okay, I thought you were gone. That's cool. How long have you been doing Unreal Engine 5 for?
I'm going to go to where it's located. We can press Control B. That will take us to where the file is, or you can just click this browse button,
Control B.
and that will
I like that. Control B will take me straight to something that's in my world. Oh, that just made me so happy. Let's go. Okay, that is not. There's my bookmark 1. Okay. Oh, Control B will bring it straight to that in my content drawer. I love that. I did not know that. What a game changer.
take you to where it is. And if I just open this up, if we click show and then go simple collision, we can see the collision for this object. So this green box basically represents the collision for this object. So no wonder my player couldn't go through. But if we just go to the details panel and scroll down and change this from project default to use complex as collision, this will be the new collision for my object. So when we use complex collision, it's a lot more accurate. How we can basically make objects have custom collisions. So first, if we just select this object, I'm going to go to where it's located. We can press Control B. That will take us to where the file is, or you can just click this browse button, and that will take you to where it is. And if I just open this up, if we click show and then go simple collision, we can see the collision for this object. So this green box basically represents the collision for this object. So no wonder my player couldn't go through. But if we just go to the details panel and scroll down and change this from project default to use complex as collision, this will be the new collision for my object. So when we use complex collision, it's a lot more accurate, although this will mean it takes more resources to green box basically represents the collision for this object. And change this from, it's a lot more, select this green key. and my player should be able to walk through it. Camera speed. We can do that in two ways. We can go over here and adjust this slider, and this can basically change my camera speed. Or with my mouse selected, if I hold the right mouse button and I scroll backwards with my mouse, my camera speed is going to go slow, but if I scroll forwards, then my camera speed is going to become faster. So this just makes it a bit easier to move around large maps.
Are you a small business owner? Get customized insurance and protect your assets. Zensurance policies start at only $19 per month. Trusted by over 300,000 Canadian small businesses. Get a free quote at zensurance.com.
Did you know that we can merge actors together? So I have this cube and this cone mesh, but maybe I want them to just be one combined mesh. The way I can do that is by selecting both of them. Then if I just go over to actor and select merge actors and then select merge, it will ask me where I want to save this new merged actor. So I'm just going to save it in this folder. And then I can just simply drag this into my level. And now I have this new mesh as one merged actor.
Not there yet, but...
When designing levels in Unreal Engine, our default view is this perspective mode. What we can do is change this to be top and then change this to be wireframe. And if we hold the middle mouse button, we can basically measure the distance between two objects. So right now we can see these two cubes are around 652 units away from each other. This can just be helpful when you're designing levels. So by default, if you open up Unreal Engine for the first time, this is how your viewport is going to look. Although if you're used to Unreal Engine 4, even though I know that's ages ago, if we just go over to Window, we can go over to Load Layout, and I can go V4 Classic Layout, and the layout will look like how it was in Unreal Engine 4, but you may not want this. So we can just go back to Window, Load Layout, and use the default editor layout. And then what I normally like to do is if I press the Control Spacebar button, it will open up my content drawer, and I can open this up anywhere. But if I open it up, I can click Dock and Layout, and that'll make it so it's permanently there. And then if I don't want this here anymore, I can just remove it. But I normally like to have my content drawer docked in the layout. And there you have it, 25 Unreal Engine 5 tips to help enhance your game development skills. But before you go, I have one extra tip. If you want to learn how to use Unreal Engine and master it, check out my website, Unreal Engine University. I have a bunch of courses there which will teach you how to make games, and I have a completely free Unreal Engine beginner course which will teach you the basics of Unreal to get started. Plus, I have some other premium courses where you can learn how to create full games like 2D platformers, FPS games, top-down shooters, and more. Control C, then I go to my Notepads app. I can paste my blueprint as a text file, and then I can... Did you know we can basically store and use blueprints as text files? So if I just copy all of these blueprints here, and I press Control C, then I go to my Notepads app, I can paste my blueprint as a text file, and then I can copy all of this text here.
Yeah, I was
go back
looking
to my
at
Unreal Engine project,
Unreal Sensei.
and I can paste it
I want to
again.
go through some of his stuff, but I'm like...
There's also this website called blueprintue.com that takes advantage of this.
Dope.
So I can paste all the blueprints that I have, and I can give it a title like test, and go create blueprint. And I can basically share this with other people. And this can be helpful if you need to like share bits of code. And it also basically allows you to copy directly from this website into your Unreal Engine project.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of Unreal Sensei stuff saved that I need to kind of work my way through. But like last time, I kind of had too many things going on at once. I had the tutorial, then I had a map of my own that I was working on, then I had other side tutorials I was kind of doing at the same time, and I think I overextended myself into too many directions, which is why I'm like, I'm gonna get this one big tutorial from Udemy done. It's this one here. So I am almost 2 minutes in. 2 minutes into the vector operations. So it's going through vectors and all this stuff, and then next we're doing the C++, which he doesn't seem to go into it too much here, but he's obviously going to go into it as we get into here. Moving objects with code. So this is where we'll start setting actor rotation and stuff. And I did a bunch of that in my last one, which is pretty decent. But I'm not looking forward to how much C++ there is here. But I need it. I know the visual blueprint stuff is really impressive. But I want to be able to deal with the code. You know what I mean? I feel like that's important. If I really want to dive into things. I mean, when I was younger, I was like, do I want to make games or do I want to make movies? And I decided to do the movie thing. You know, that was 20 years ago now. And now I'm like, okay, let's get into a little bit of programming. Because the Blueprint stuff is super nice. But I feel like this is a good foundation. Apparently, this is like one of the best courses that you can actually take to build your own game. Is this entire course, and it'll give you a good foundation for C++. He also has. I wish we just like. His explanations are really good. So you know he takes his time getting through this landscape stuff. Stephen Ulibarri. I think he's has Pragmatic Dev as well on YouTube. But he has, where is the other one? Look, that's the GameDev.tv one. All right, let me just go down here. Learn C++ for game development. That's cool. The Ultimate Shooter course, C++ fundamentals. I should do that one too, but I want to get back into the Blueprint stuff. I quite liked it. You know C++, eh? Yeah. Yeah, I probably don't really need to know it, but I'm kind of committed to the cause now. I might be in a little bit deep. But I like the steps that he goes through for it. So I'm like, as long as I can finish the course, I should be fine. He has this one here. So I figured I'd do this course, which is harder and a little more advanced. And then he goes, Sarah, you're breaking my heart here. Because I don't want to stop the course I'm taking now and switch. Don't make me feel like I'm wasting my time, because I was ready to climb this mountain, right? But I was going to do the C++ one that I have here, because I think understanding programming fundamentally and the logic of it will help me out a lot. But I know that Blueprints, you also kind of get that too. But this is the other course of his that I'm going to do, which is the Ultimate Developer course, Unreal Engine 4. And so this one actually does 4 games, and it's doing it all without C++. So this is the other course of his that I'd like to go through, because he does like 4 different games in it.
Blueprint scripting system,
which is pretty dope.
Blueprints are a way of making a game, an animated text that dominates with all for free. We learn about the characters and how to switch between them to solve fun and difficult puzzle problems throughout the game. Game restart. This further your game development skill set. By the end of this...
Oh, sorry, that's not the one. He's got, here you go. He's got an Unreal Engine 5 one. So I bought this one as well, because all of these were cheap. They were like $30. So this is the Blueprint.
So we all have a basic compass that have to exist.
I should have a pretty good
all of the calculations create their own
of what I'm trying to build, or sorry, I should have a good basis to try and start building my own stuff. I'll be honest, I'm probably just gonna build some really shitty little games. Just
Welcome to Unreal Engine 5 Blueprints, the ultimate game developer course.
Cool.
If you are completely new to game development and you want to create stunning video games in Unreal Engine, this course is for you. And if you're already experienced in Unreal Engine, this course will still be useful for you, as it covers a large variety of game development topics and best practices. Throughout the course, we will create several main game projects, starting with a flying drone shooter, where we learn the basics of game assets and how to import them into the engine. We learn the foundations of game math and vectors, which is essential for game development. We set up inputs with Unreal Engine's enhanced input system and implement fly.
So yeah. Maybe I should do this course and that course at the same time. It might help me out because doing the C++ one on the side, just so I have that programming is good. But then I think doing the blueprint one will let me get into the action a little bit more, because like just going through the vector stuff today, I did like 30-40 minutes of it, and I'm just like, it's really fucking boring. So I wouldn't mind getting into the action a little bit sooner. Okay, yeah, so you do use it though to make some stuff, yeah, then use them in your BPs. Yeah, you definitely do use it in the blueprint side of things. I mean, I wonder if I can open up, let me see here. I got a lot of assets. Oh, you know what? I reinstalled Windows the other day and I lost all my old projects because they were all just little sample things anyways. Okay, Sarah, are you saying I should just ditch what I'm building? Maybe. Maybe you're right. Maybe I should not worry about the vector stuff. 4D. Sarah, what do you mean 4D? How is there 4 dimensions? You're blowing my mind right now. Let's be honest, Sarah. The only reason it looks good is because I put Bloom and God Rays in here. I will say, and this is something that I've found, I have this collection manager plugin that I just bought that I think is fantastic. I love this over here. See on the left-hand side is, no, I need to go to here. I love this collection. This just came out. It's called Collections Helper, which is great. So you've always got up there versus the content drawer down on the side. Fantastic. Really nice. I do find that the procedural, I'm not a big fan of the foliage painter, because having to go through and click every single little one of these. Oh no, I did find a deselect. Did I find a deselect all? Oh yeah, I could select all instances, deselect all instances. You have to be in selection mode. I learned that, but I got really annoyed that I had to go and click like. Oh, I think I figured it out. I think you can do. Yeah, okay. I did figure that out eventually, but I feel like there should be just a better foliage, a way of doing the foliage here, and I did get a little bit annoyed because. Let me just move this over here. I got a little bit annoyed here. I use 4D to get around gimbal lock. Oh, interesting. I don't know what that means. I do know what a gimbal is as a guy working on film, but gimbal lock here is interesting. Maybe you can help me out with something that was driving me a little nuts. So I went through and did a bunch of painting with stuff, and then I learned about the align to normal afterwards. Okay. And then, so then I went in and I edited the static mesh foliage of the original item and fixed a bunch of it so that things then went straight, right? Now, this is something that drives me a little nuts, is that I can't right click on this and see what this is. And if I go to, right, so this item here, I don't know what tree this is that is growing on the hill crooked, so I can go fix it static mesh. That drives me a little bit nuts. And I would love any input you might be able to give me on this if you're still around. And then, yeah, and so I can fix the static mesh for this. Here's the thing is, like, I have this tree selected that was put on here with Foliage Painter, right? in my foliage painter here, I can select every tree that I have in my foliage painter. I'll just select all of it. And I can lasso. How can I find out exactly what tree this is, though? This is the thing that drives me nuts. I'd like to know which version of the tree this is. Is there any way to do that? So I can edit the original static mesh and fix the normal? Because I also had some trees crooked, and I went to the lasso tool. I had every single item selected, and I painted over it, and it didn't select my crooked trees. And I was like, well, why is that tree not being selected? I obviously used the foliage painter because it was on there crooked, but it was like the tree was not selectable in foliage mode. Even though if I clicked on it here, it showed up as an instant foliage actor on the right-hand side. Okay. Because I went in, I opened every single tree that I had in here. And let me see. I'm going to do that right now. I've got all my trees selected. Give me the details. And I should... Don't ampersand normal. Don't random y'all. So even with this tree selected here, the align to normal is not working for some reason. I've made it to false, and like it's not making these trees go straight up and down. So I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. But I think it's because I have to go to the... I think I have to go to the original, right? Editing this won't change what I've put down, I believe. And there's also no way just to edit the properties of this one here. Like if I click on this tree, it doesn't pop up on the left here with the details of it. So I feel like the foliage tool it's got a lot of flaws for sure. Got a lot of flaws. So I'm gonna lasso single instant mode. I don't know which one that is. Yeah, I can understand that. PCG is pretty nice. I think I might have a PCG plugin. But, I mean, I've been looking at what Dash is doing, and Dash is on their texture. Did they have PCG foliage on that? No. But it let you paint based off a spleen. I guess you could do scatter. You could do scatter on a dash thing, couldn't you? Let me see here. Let's just go to a basic here. Sure, let's save. Oh, sure. Start me underneath it. Great. Let's open up Dash. Thing is, doesn't really... I wish Dash... I wish it would just let me drag a material straight onto here. I think doing it through Dash, yeah, now I can edit the material. Have you used Dash at all? Have you seen this guy? I'm a big fan of Dash. I'm just kind of getting the hang of it. And then I should be able to surface scatter. Select it. And then so now I'm scattering the grass all over it, which is fantastic. Yeah, they keep coming up with updates for it, which is really solid. But I can set my scale size here, set my minimum scale size, set my density, do something like that, and then you can also go into here. You can randomize the sync. You can also do like an object, like a. Let me show you. I can do a curve tool. Let me draw a curve here. And then back on my surface scatter here, I can do an object mask. And then I can select this guy and I can place stuff just inside that. Or you can also do, you can do it the other way. And I can have stuff go around it to a certain distance. But what you can do is I can actually, like, if I drop a piece of, like, use a spline tool and I drop a whole bunch of rocks in a row, I can then go and use that same curve and do a proximity mask and just drop pebbles along that line that will also run along that same thing. So I've just got scattered rock along without having to hand paint it all in, which is really cool. They've also got like physics painting. Let me stop using this guy here. The physics painting is pretty good. I can hold control here and then do physics paint. It'll take a sec to load. I think it's working. All right, and then I can just do that, you know, drop a whole bunch of stuff. Very handy to make some pretty natural looking stuff, right? And they just added this the other day. Check this out. This is probably my favorite thing about it. The one thing I will say, I am not entirely sure how modifiable some of this stuff is, because I didn't make a landscape. You can make your own terrain with them, and then modify that terrain and draw into it with splines and stuff like that. But there is here with the material mode in here, they just added this. If it's a Quixel texture, you can do breakup tiling like this. Yeah, it is. I mean, I look at it as the $15 a month, and I like that. I think that the $15 a month is pretty good. But the Dash, like, I like what I can do with it for some of the painting stuff. I haven't really used it for terrain yet because I'm going through the tutorial. But the best thing about it is this enable breakup tiling. And all it is as long as it's a Quixel asset and you drop it on here, you can do breakup tiling like that. And it takes it and splits that tile up so it's not repeatable, like, at all. And you can change the amount of it. You can change the randomness of it. Like, it's really impressive how natural it makes textures look. And for that price alone, like, I'm trying to watch a video Oh, come on. What do you... Tiling wise, like that is so much better. Like compared to that, that's pretty darn good. That's pretty darn good. Okay, ooh, don't go to 10. If you go to 10, you really see the tiling. So that's with nothing. And then you bring it in a little bit, random position. I think it's definitely much nicer for sure. You can add some dirt on there. Probably just broke it. Okay, well, if you're going to add some dirt, come on. It's adding dirt. Here's the thing. It is not... It should break up tile the dirt. And I'm kind of surprised that it doesn't do that. But they did just add this as a feature here. So... A little bit of snow. You can add rain. Add some wetness, surface ripples. Anyways, yeah, I do quite like some of the tools that they have here. Like their scatter is fantastic. The fact that you can scatter along a spline, straight along a surface. You can do decal, volume scatter, grid scatter, radial scatters. It's quite handy. But yeah, I understand what you're saying about the price point. Don't save this. I don't care about this level. So see this goddamn mesh right here. Just hanging out on the side that I can't do anything with. So what I had to do last time with this stupid foliage, because I couldn't find... Here's the thing as well. I'm going to show you this, because I went into the... I believe it's an alder. Let me just search alder. Is there a way to pick foliage? Static mesh foliage. Okay. I'm going to pick all these alder here. Oh, there's more. Every single one. Every single one that's green. Now. Asset localizations. Nope. Asset actions. Property matrix. Let's go. 40 of them. I want to fix this. Sound like Kennedy. I had a dream. That wasn't Kennedy. Okay. Oh. So what did I bring in here that doesn't... They've all gone normal. Oh, I think it just hadn't loaded them all. No. So one of these doesn't have normal in there. Oh, those first ones. Other than that. So if I pick this one, all the way down, align to normal. Oh, come back, come back. Is it gonna save my trees? No, it didn't. It didn't fix my trees. And I don't understand why, because I've had it where I guess because it's like it's reloading the trees, but it's not ignoring the align to normal. These bushes here. And I don't know why, because if I'm editing the original static mesh, which it's drawing from, it should be affecting that. I would think, right? Am I crazy? So yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Not entirely sure why it's not fixing these. If I'm messing with... Where's my Ludus? Does editing a static mesh foliage actor that is in my level, does editing the base static mesh I'm going to ask the AI here. Let's see what it says. When you're the basic static mesh foliage properties, this changes will affect all existing foliage instances in the level, not just new placements. The specific location... Okay, what remains unchanged? The specific location of existing foliage instances, individual instance transformations you've manually adjusted. Oh, I could just use the replace. Let's just try replacing. That might be it. That might be what I got to do. Okay, let's go back to foliage. Okay, reapply is not working. It's not working at all. Okay, what about if, let me lasso it. Okay, that works. Why won't it let me reapply? Sarah, I hate my life right now. Okay, Ludus. Ludus, come back. Using instance painting, using the foliage paint tools, replace for more controlled updates. I tried reapplying. Verify to ensure you're actually in the foliage edit mode. Yeah. Check that the reapply tool is selected. Make sure you have a foliage type selected in the foliage edit panel. Potential causes: no changes made to the foliage type properties, incorrect brush settings, insufficient overlap. Use select tool, choose instance. Use select tool. Okay. Right click and use the replace option. Where's this replace option? Oh, right there. Let's do reapply. Let's do single instance mode. Oh, interesting. It doesn't let me select anything. Oh, that's helpful. That is helpful. Yes, I see now. Skip. Stop. Stop it. Why does it keep bringing me back up to the top? What else can I do? See, what I don't understand is like it should be affecting all these static meshes that I have in the world, and it's not, even though I'm editing the I don't understand why. Oh well, it is what it is. Okay, let's try this. This is what I do with a lot of my time is just oh, I see. I need to be in here. Okay, so that is everything. I don't want that. I want to paint here. I just want this one mesh. So let's deselect all. And then we're just going to take, okay. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Okay. So assemble a static mesh actor. If I go in here and I change this to 1 and save, it doesn't change it. Oh, everything is shitting the bed now. So it's not affecting stuff that I've placed already, but at least I know it works with incoming stuff. Okay. Let's get that back to default before it goes crazy. Thank you. Oh no. I knew. That's what I thought was going to happen. Okay. Well, now that Sarah's broken my heart by making me feel like I don't need to learn C++. I'm kind of happy, but I'm also a little sad. I'm going to go back to doing a little bit of vector stuff here. I need to get past that. That's work. It's all work stuff. Let's go back to my learning. My learning. Oh, my learning. Come on.
Fireball can reach power up that allows that fireball to reach 2 times as far. Now we know that this particular vector goes over 2 in the x and 1 in the y. So the vector, we can call it v1, is the vector 2, 1. It has a x component of 2 and a y component of 1. So
let me just move that over. Oh, hey, Cludos. Thanks for swinging by here. C++ is a plus for sure. What am I trying to achieve? Well, I want to learn more about programming. It was something when I was much younger. I was like, do I want to work in film or do I want to make games? And I decided that I was going to work in film. And now that film is slow and I'm 40 years old, I'm having a midlife crisis. And I was like, let's get it on Unreal Engine and let's kind of do something that I'm passionate about because film industry is kind of doing some weird things. So I kind of want to learn to be able to build little games and be creative on this side because making my own films is expensive and I can't do that. So I feel like I could do Unreal Cinematics would be kind of fun, short films, but ideally I'd like to build some fun little games. I might not ever make money at it, but I like the creative process. You know, I started some GameDev.tv course a year ago and then film industry came back. So now coming back into it again, I was like, the Stephen Ulibarri course, the C++ one, is apparently one of the best courses you could take to get you into the Unreal Engine. Teaches you a lot, teaches you C++. And then I was going to take his Blueprints course after that. No. I mean, when I was younger, I used to have some gaming websites and some staff. But, you know, that's like 17, 18 years ago. I learned a little basic and some programming back then, but I never got into it. So now I'm like, let's go. Let's try and learn something new at 40 years old. And I did some of the C++ stuff in the other course. The GameDev.tv one had me like rotating platforms and moving stuff. And like, if this works, then make this happen. And if it doesn't, don't do this. So I was like, okay. And then actually when I was able to figure a little bit of the code out myself, I was like, oh, I think I'm going to need that function here. And I went ahead and did it. I was like, it was very satisfying to me. I'm not looking forward to C++, but I feel like I'd like to learn it so I'm not totally out of the loop. And maybe I can troubleshoot stuff as I go. But yes, Sarah was saying I could just focus on Blueprint stuff. So I feel like I might work my way through the C++ here, just so I can have as a foundation. Let me show
now
you here.
that this,
because I mean this course is really good. Apparently, like this is the course to take. He's got another course as well. So I was going to try and do this one, which is more difficult, and then I was also going to do his other course, which is more about Blueprint stuff. More courses. Stop. These pop-ups on Udemy are killing me. So he's got this course, which really doesn't involve the C++. And apparently it's wicked as well. And it'll teach me 4 different games just doing Blueprints. So, I mean, I could abandon what I'm doing over here and just go to this one. But, I mean, I tried learning C++ when I was 15. My dad bought me a book on game programming. And as a 15-year-old who was just, you know, grade 10, it was very difficult for me. You know, there wasn't YouTube, there wasn't other stuff like that. And learning from a book was not good. So, just some HLSL. I don't even know what that is. Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe I might switch over to the other one then and just start working my way through that. You got one shader suite, two and one by world depth and one depth best programming language for shaders. Oh, that's cool. High level shader language. Damn. Yeah, there's a part of me that wishes I focused on computer science stuff, but I'll be honest, man, like I've had a really great career in film. I've done some cool stuff. I'm very happy with that. So the pivot is kind of nice, I'll say. But there's still that little part of me that makes me go, man, I wish I got in at the right time when I was younger. You know, the right mobile game, something like that. You never know. Now, even going, you know, watching Doom and Wolfenstein and stuff come out, I was like, man, everything was kind of 2D before that, for the most part. And then learning 3D, even back then, looking at C++, I was like, this is hurting my brain. But yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I know. I know I can build most of it with the with blueprints. There's just a part of me that wants to not feel like I'm cutting corners. You know what I mean? I mean, the reason I didn't want to go Unity is it doesn't have the visual scripter, and I like the features that Unreal brings to the table, right? So I'm like, God damn. Right. The thing is, on the Unreal Store, there's a ton of great. There's so many good plugins and things pre-built already. Gotcha. That's the thing. Like I will likely want to try doing something multiplayer at some point. Like I have an idea for a very basic game that's just 1 versus 1, but that will obviously be a little down the line. You know, I spent 45 minutes looking at all the different first-person templates out there. It's just hurts my brain. Yeah, I'm big in the plugins, man. Just trying to figure out how to use them. Right, yeah, the multiplayer shooter template. I think I've seen that. Yeah. Yes, watching YouTube has been a lot, but I've found like yesterday I sat here for 4 hours and did like the pack level instances and everything else to kind of finish the level design aspect of the tutorial that I'm doing right now. But it's taken me a long time to actually get through this part of the tutorial because I was downloading Dash, I was meshing with other plugins. I said I'm going to add a water effect here and try and figure that out. You know, so the tutorials were kind of nice because I was getting out there, or sorry, YouTube videos were kind of like showing me other things that I could try and experiment with. And also just like I couldn't sit here and do this for 8 hours straight. So I kind of, because I'm not working, I just kind of been treating it like school where you do like a couple hours of one thing, couple hours of another. You know, watch a couple of videos about getting into game development and how difficult it is and how you'll probably fail and never make any money at it is also very inspiring. So, you know, I try and break it up, but at the end of the day, I'm like, I got to come in and just start, you know, making stuff happen, right? So. Put OBS over here again. Oh no, no, I have no aspirations to make a big MMO or anything like that. Yes, I know, if you look without doing it, yeah, for sure. I just watched the tips video actually, that was quite handy. From one of these from Unreal University. You know, so I kind of break it up with just some general knowledge stuff. Oh no, I have some floating trees again. God damn it. Maybe my reapply tool worked. I can get away with a couple floating trees, right? I was just saying to Sarah, I find it really annoying that I can't figure out exactly what model of tree this is if I use the foliage painter. So I'm annoyed that I can't find a better foliage painter than the one that comes with this. But the, you know, procedurally generated stuff is definitely the way to go. Let me see what I actually have for PCG. I've got procedural building. Oh, I've got a procedural nature pack, volume 1. And I've got a procedural crowd. So I think this procedural nature pack, I think that would work as a plugin for this. So zero textures, zero models, just cubes. Cubes from the engine. Yeah, so I do have a procedural nature pack volume 1 for version 5.4 that would work. I'm just going on Steam for wishes. Yeah, I'm no artist working on my second level currently. Hey, can you send a link to the Steam store? I'll wishlist it. Again, I don't know why I'm typing when you can hear me. Yeah, it's quite interesting. I want to start just kind of like, I'd like to start just building a little basic game from the ground up. But I feel like the fundamentals that this course has given me, especially in the level design, has been really, really huge. I was telling Sarah, when I was able to pull some stuff in, like some meshes, and it had no textures, then I went back and I found the normal maps, the height maps, and I dragged them all over and I made it work. And I was just like, that was very satisfying for me. Even though it seems like it's just such a normal thing, I was like, oh, okay, I figured that out, right? So, but I mean, like, yeah, this is just, I mean, this honestly is not that complicated once you kind of figure it out. You know what I mean? The foliage painting and the sculpting and everything else. And once I realized I could pull these guys in, these massive guys in place in the background, it just added a whole different vibe to this. I was like, oh my god. All my trees are not rendering very well right now. 2.731 gigabytes over budget. So whatever I just did to all my static meshes, I edited something in all my static meshes, has fucked my environment up. Maybe. Yeah, don't save. I'm not saving that. I want to go back in and see if it's all fixed. PCG biomes. Oh no, Clutos, this is just in 10 days is when I started this tutorial. And honestly, if I just focused on the tutorial, I'm probably going to bang this out in like 2 days. But again, you know, do a few hours, take a break from it, go watch some YouTube videos, you know, download the Dash plugin and get that in here, figure out how to add water in here with the Dash plugin, mess around with splines, blah, 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 you know. So I definitely took my time with it. Ooh, let's go to Epic. Listen, sometimes I just like to get over here and just look at my God rays coming through. Where's my dungeon? Oh, my dungeon's here. Okay. Oof. Slow down. Oh, yeah, so right here. So when you come here and you're like, oh, I moved the sun so I don't get them anymore. Where is it? Ooh. Oh yeah. Yeah, the little bit of... I love that. Love that. That just makes me happy. It's so simple. Oh. Maybe I'm using Streamlabs, I think. Maybe it blocked it. Okay, Sarah. I don't usually have people come and watch here. I also don't stream a lot. This is kind of new. I did post a link to Steam. Let me see. It's a lot. Let me see if I can figure out that link and how to let it go through with Streamlabs. Oh, I still see the link here, Sarah. Did that work? Oh yeah, no, your link is still there. Yeah, I see it. The room is bad now. So Sarah, if that's what, okay, I see. White's this a 40 first-person platform dodge the obstacles. That's cool. I like the music in your trailer. Does the level change behind you as you move forward? Is that kind of the idea? Oh yeah. Yeah, okay, nice. We go down and never go down. Okay. Are you going to be adding lights and stuff like that? You just have like an overall light happening right now, right? Are you going to be adding lighting and stuff like that? Made in Wales. Nice.
as far, what would the vector be for the new fireball? And is it enough to hit the enemy? Is it reaching far enough before that spell reaches the extent of the fireball's direction?
What's going on,
Well,
April?
we know that we can...
Man, the sun is just so bright on some of these textures here. That's better. That's better. Yeah, I'm going to bring that intensity down. That's nicer. Where's my fog? An in-house anti-cheat. Nice. Nice. That sounds like you're doing some C++. Can I still get rays of light with the sun even without fog? Doesn't really change it, which I find a little interesting, but oof, adds a little mood here. Look at how ugly the seam is here. Oh, April left. That's okay. Thanks for coming by. 2 innings. How many levels are you hoping to build for it? Or is it kind of like a Rubik's Cube? Like once you kind of understand the process of it, you should be able to go in and do it again. And again, you just got to redo the process. Even though it's changing a little bit, you should have an understanding, or the levels are going to be set, essentially. Like they're not procedurally generated, right? So I'm at 34 frames right here. Let's bookmark this. Let's turn on shadow maps and restart. Or streaming virtual textures. Okay. And virtual shadow. Oh, no. Shadow streaming. Oh, virtual shadow maps. Look how nice that looks. Still at 35. Let's restart now. 13 levels. Yeah, you can blend the landscape and the meshes, right? Like, and it's mostly along the edges, right? Like where the cliff meets the grass, it tends to look a little more natural where it blends in. Yeah, I turned it off for performance, but every once in a while I like to turn it on because it does look a little nicer. And I just like to see how it affects my frame rate. Oh, that's cool. Once you get the manipulation tool, I like that. See, I don't get it. I've got a higher frame rate than I did before with that on. I swear to God. I think, let me see this down here. Oh no, close this. Close that. Okay, give me back here. Okay. Oh, it's force.foliage. No, it's foliage. God damn, I can't spell it. Dot force. LOD 1. Is there a way to redo the last console command that you have here? No. just gonna copy and paste it. $25 frames. Oh. Oh damn, I'm down to 4 point. Oh god. I don't know why I've lost so many frames now. I think I just broke it. All I've done is bump my force foliage up to 5. Oh, it is arrow up. Okay, I did arrow up. I think because I started typing, arrow up brought me to other stuff. Okay, that's kind of what I thought it was. Using portals but no render targets. Nice. A/B test your command 01. A/B okay. Man, I don't know why it just shit the bed on me though, because I had force foliage LOD 0. And then I went up to force foliage LOD 5. Now I've come back to force foliage LOD 0, and I'm down at 5 frames. I was at 32 frames before I did all this. AB, okay, test frame timing when command is 0. Oh, wow. I can get some cheap viewers. That's all I want. Okay, so I can do... the game, I think I broke the game. Well, now I'm at 120. Oh my, what is going on here? I broke it with that. I broke it. I'm just gonna exit and come back in, because it's fucking up. It's fucking up hard. So A/B test your command 01. So what can I do? Okay, so I've got good frame rates right now. So force. So A/B test. Foliage dot force LOD. I can do 0, 1 means the value. So I could do 0 and 5, right? Because there's 5 different levels of LODs. So it'll give me the results from 0 and to 5. Is that what it is? Right? Oh man, yeah, my frame rate just went from 32 frames down to 5 frames here. And that will just give me that in the output log here. Oh yeah. Oh, I see. I have to I have to get it to stop. Stop. That's handy. I did not know about that. Thank you. So right now, so here's what I find a little interesting. So Oh shit, sorry. Fuck, it's opening the console with tilt. It keeps turning my browser on and off. Yeah, normally the greater the LED, the cheaper it is, right? And your command can't be used as an optimization process, I think. No, it just kind of does it for what I view here. Because I had like a really weird circle of like that as I moved to the grass here, it would show me the where it was rendering at, and it drove me nuts. And I don't even know how I fixed it. The forced foliage didn't fix that, but it was drawing certain things not fully, and I wanted it to do that. Foliage.force LED. I'm at 22 frames right now. Let me see what I'm at. Oh, pillar. This should show me, right? Oh, it is 5 right now. Okay. Okay. For some reason, I thought it was stayed at 0 from last time. Yeah. Let's do. Okay. Shader complexity. So those mountains are bad. But surprisingly, I mean, all the grasses are quite bad. Ooh, yeah, the grass, some of the grasses. Yeah. The water is really bad. I mean, obviously, because there's reflection and stuff on it, right? Yeah, for some reason, I thought I was defaulting to shader 0 every time I came back in. So it makes sense that 5 is better. Okay. So these grasses are taking up a lot. Let's do this. Stat GPU. And so the nanite vis buffer, I'd imagine that's probably coming because of those grasses, right? Big question is how. What's the easiest way to bring the grass down? Is just change. I mean, the LED is already on 5, so it's about as low as you can get, right? Stat GPU 0. Yeah, I believe the grass is using nanite. If I wanted to turn it off for the grass that I have... Oh, man. My webcam is being super laggy right now. Oh, it's because my GPU is bogging down with the game right now. That's really interesting. I'm not even doing anything, and I'm running at 20 frames. I am also here. Let me do my scalability. No, we're just on high. Okay, let's do. You're saying nanite overview? Okay. Oh my goodness! I don't know what any of this means. The overdraw down in the lower left is looking pretty aggressive. Check if it's nanite. Check if the material is transparent or master opaque. Okay. This is, and I was just saying this to Sarah, like, this is the annoying thing, is that anything that I've painted, I can't really just right click on this and find the original object. I have to go to it in the foliage mode to find the object that I used. And then go to the original object, right? But now, messing with the original... Why is my GPU shitting the bed so much right now? Holy shit. Oh, I am using NVENC for Stream Encoder. I am. Maybe I should turn that off. So to do, I need to see this a little bit bigger. So these are my grasses. I like that I browse to the asset in the content drawer and then it doesn't even select it for me. Like, oh, that's why. So I've got static mesh foliage here. Can I turn? Yeah, the grass is nanite. Yeah. Can I turn nanite off in the static mesh foliage here? Or do I have to go back? Do I have to go to the original and not the foliage version of it? So I need to go to show in content browser. Open this guy up. Go to the original, which is right here. Oh, because I see triangles on the grass. I see. Right. Okay, so I gotta go to the original here. Open this guy up, which is what I have open. Where's my details on this static mesh, though? This is what I find a little confusing. Because I feel like I should have stuff over here, and it's not giving me that. It should be better with nanite, right? That's kind of the whole thing about it. There's the mesh. I'm opening the mesh up, which is right here. There's my static mesh of it. There's the material instance that goes on it. But I could use... How come I don't have a detail panel on this static mesh with some stuff here? Window. Oh, details, of course. I'm fucking stupid. I just don't know why it wouldn't open it with it. So I thought there was a problem. So now I've got my original static mesh. It's right here. I have a nanite override material on. Why? But again, changing the original material should not change anything here in my level, right? Now I'm in the material instance. This is the material instance for that. I need to actually go to the texture, don't I? Not the material instance. It's got like a second billboard texture thing that comes with it. So I'm on the static mesh right now that the foliage is referencing. And it's got the regular and then it's got a billboard version of it. Which is, you know, if I want to do a billboard version. So here's the material instance. I'm going to open that up. I'm going to put this in preview mode, see if it'll... I'll do it. Okay, let's go to the parent right here. It's a lot of layers to get to the bottom of this bad boy. Usage used with nanite. Should I just uncheck this and see what happens? Yeah, like I've got the parent right here, right? Which I've opened that up, which I now have right here. This is the not rendering it for some reason. My GPU is getting fucked right now. I don't know why. Okay, here's the material instance. There's my general right here. This is the parent texture, the parent material. Okay, I'm on the instance. Material property overrides blend mode. Is that what I'm looking for? Should I? Okay, so masked is good, right? Oh, for whatever reason, my GPU's dropped back down to normal. I don't know why I was running at 99%. Yeah, I think it is quite complicated. But I mean, like, to be honest, like, for the most part, like, my frame rate is not... It's not terrible for what I'm doing here. I mean, I'm at 28 frames. It's not exactly what I would consider optimized. That's for sure. Oh, that grass is just fucking hanging out. That's weird. Yeah, I feel like if I was going to do this from the beginning and actually build it into something, there'd be a lot of steps and optimizations I'd have to take to try and make this not so crazy. Where did this grass... Yeah, I think it came from... It might have come from Quixel? Or might have come in a pack. Be great if I could just hide all this foliage. Let me... Can I do that? Well, now I'm at 50 frames. Stat scene on it, okay. Oh, that's cool. Standalone game mode, okay. Disabling real-time editor, okay. Now, if I turn all this back on, ooh, render view family, ooh, look at those numbers skyrocket. Just flying. I gotta take a look at some, I want to see where all my GPU is going. You know what? It is my video decoding is using a 97% of my GPU. I hate seeing this render view family. Have you tried the Ludus AI? Also, can I wonder if I change my Twitch settings right now to not do NVENC. I'd have to stop the stream to do it. I might change that afterwards. Thank you for that tip, Sarah. I'm going to take it off NVENC because I can't afford to have OBS stealing any more than it needs to. Okay. Stat scene rendering 0. I have the Ludus AI plugin installed. I don't know if you've tried this. It's super dope. It's super duper dope. Let me see here. What does render view family mean when looking at stats for rendering? When you see render view family and rendering performance, okay, statistics, it represents the total time spent rendering all views in a single frame. Yeah, so Ludus AI, you can ask it about the software. It'll help you solve problems. It'll look at your code and try and fix it. It's free. I don't think I'm paying for it. I have a certain amount of credits for this, but it's coming pretty handy when I'm trying to figure some stuff out, for sure. Okay, what is it? Stat scene rendering. Stat unit graph and stat FPS. Yeah, my FPS is shown. Oh, okay, let's see here. Is there a bigger one? Oh no, I just turned it off. Okay. Yeah, I've got my FPS on the right there. Let's see the other one. Stat. Stat unit graph. Oh, right there. Mesh draw calls. Oh, look at all that. Is it the unit draw calls over there? Is that what you did? Yeah, it's made for Unreal Engine for sure. Stat unit graph 1. Oh, it literally shows it as I'm doing that. Oh, that's cool. I see. Yeah, there it is. And so that's my stat FPS right there, right? On. It's funny though, I did stat FPS 0 and it's still showing me that over there, but whatever. Oh, don't put 1. That's where I'm fucking it up. You just type in, it turns it on and off. Interesting. So, sorry, I gotta look your commands again. So the 800 doll call, the stat unit. Okay, I have those stats up there. Dynamic resolution unsupported. I've got 1600 draws happening over here. So that's how many meshes it's trying to pull, correct? There's a lot to figure out with this stat stuff that I don't quite understand. If it's doing 800 calls, what does that mean? Is my computer just not generating enough power for my fucking headset or what? Let's remember. Hey, Cludos, I appreciate you hanging out and helping me out. That's very nice of you. I haven't really had anybody swing, but I mean, I only kind of started streaming yesterday when I'm doing this, but between you and Sarah, it's kind of be nice to have a couple people to bounce some stuff off, because I don't have people to... I'm in a couple Discords, but it takes forever to get any answers for small stuff. Scene rendering. I think that was one you have. Yeah, I can hide the foliage. I've got it all selected right now. Oh, no, sorry. I unselected all. Here, let me go back. Let's hide it all. Now I got 628 draws. Definitely gained some frame rate. Now I got 1800 draws. Okay. So we had the other one here that you were saying it was doing, it had 800 draws going on. What exactly is that referencing? Mesh, oh, I see. Is it down there at the bottom? Ah, yeah, the mesh draw calls. That's what you were talking about right there, the counters. So I got 1200 meshes being called. Damn. Instances. Right. Yeah. So I can call, I can do like a calling, right? There's like a calling variable that I can do to my static mesh that if it's not being after a certain distance, it's not going to pull it in, right? Which I believe is something I can mess with. You want me to unselect all these? Okay. Enable call distance scaling. Call distance. So calling is the distance they'll begin to fade out. 0 disables. When the entire clusters, the cluster is completely called and not render at all. Let's do 5. Oh, I see. That's what you're talking about. Okay. I gotcha. So how do I search instance? Okay, let me see. Let me ask the great AI gods. How can I use instances for foliage meshes to optimize my scene? Let's see what the bot says. Hierarchical instant static mesh, foliage, static oh my, okay, it's giving me a lot here. Implement instant rendering optimization, disable shadows, implement instance calling, implement procedural placement, open foliage, configure foliage type, set max draw distance, adjust, configure calling. So best for unchanging environments, lowest performance overhead, ideal for large uniform landscapes, procedural, dynamic, more flexible, slightly higher performance cost. Keep instant count under 100,000, use density controls and foliage tool, implement distant based spawning, set up multiple LOD levels, yes, I get that, foliage type properties, adjust max draw distance, configure calling settings. Left when you click on the thumbnail with the count. Okay. Let me see. Component class is foliage instant static mesh component. That's the component class. It doesn't give me a search option here. Single instance mode override. No, that's just for single instances, like if I'm placing it one by one. Advanced. No, placement. Instant setting mobility, static, movable, calling distance. Well, it definitely. Oh, sorry. Here, let me just hide my webcam. You don't need to see my face at all anyways. Nothing to look at there. How is the streaming quality, by the way? Like, you can read this text, that's all good. So, where am I what part is it where it's confirmed that they're using instance? You're talking right here, component class. Or is it here that they're all static and not movable? Okay, so check that they're all static for mobility. Okay. Multiple values. They're all foliage instant static mesh component. The density is obviously different. Static. Yeah, I mean. Oh, the class? Yeah. Yeah, the class is all foliage instant static mesh component. Yeah. The thing is, that's not actually affecting what's already on the map, right? Like, it would be for anything that I would now paint, I believe. Right? I thought that I could go in and edit a static mesh foliage component and have it, and I saw somebody do that, but what are the 1,000 actors on the outliner? Sorry. Showing 31 of 1,000 actors. Let's see here. Oh, you know what? Most of it came in with that dungeon. I've got a bunch of like cliff materials, but that's not too bad. And there's landscape streaming proxy, whatever the fuck that is. Here, let me go to selection mode. Oh, landscape streaming proxy. Like, this is a massive, massive world. Yeah, so that landscape streaming proxy is just that. But I think a lot of it is to do with the... So see the dungeon right here? Look at this. This is all dungeon objects right here, which is a packaged level that I pulled in, which is the crypt. Let me see where is it? I just hit all that. I'm definitely gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to watch. Like, I need to make a new landscape that's not following this tutorial and just look at some landscape optimization techniques and then do it from the very beginning. Because I've fucked around with a lot of settings in between different grasses and foliage and stuff like that. And I think my optimization is just kind of not great, for sure. Oh, Cluedos, don't worry about it. It's all good. I'm not too worried about optimizing the scene to be like anything super crazy, you know. Can I just hide all my stats at once? No. Okay, so what did I, what did I have for stats? Son of a bitch. Stat. Unit graph. Stat. Scene rendering. Stat. FPS. Yeah, the grass is definitely a problem. I mean, it is also incredibly dense. I could probably go with half that density, and it'd probably be helping me out, right? But yeah, I think because I don't have a calling distance, it's rendering, I think, everything right now. Whereas if I set my calling distance, then it shouldn't be rendering anything past my view here. But I need to figure that out with the static mesh or the foliage, because I thought I could edit every single piece of foliage that's out there by editing the static mesh, but I don't think that's how it is. I think it only affects the new stuff that I put down, right? You paint a grass layer that changes the texture from another grass asset. It reads this info and spawns grass by itself. Oh, that is... I want that. That's good. I want what you're talking about. Oh shit. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna have to look at that. Stat game. So this on the right hand side, what stat is that? That's pulling up my frame, my draw, and all that stuff. That's not stat FPS, right? FPS is just the FPS. So that's something else. I feel like what I should do, I'm going to stop the stream just for a second, and I'm going to change so my encoding is something different. Because right now, I think that's also affecting my in-game performance. So I have to stop streaming for a sec. I'm just going to switch it off NVE and see. I'll be right back. Okay.